Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Miss Courtney, if you're nasty. Just kidding. Anyways, that wasn't the right music that went with that. It was supposed to be Janet Jackson, Nasty, in case you didn't catch on to that. Or maybe you don't even know who Janet Jackson is. Although I wasn't, Elvis and... there are certain groups that were not my era, but I still know songs from the 50s and 60s, even though I wasn't alive then. So regardless if you're alive during Janet Jackson's time or not, most people know who she is, right? Just not when I'm trying to sing her song. Then people have no clue. Anyway, hello. Welcome. Whether you're tuning in for the first time, the 20th time, or you've been listening from the beginning, hey, I really flippin' appreciate that. I really genuinely do. Oh my God. Sorry, I sound a little breathy right now because apparently I am a little more out of shape than I thought, and I'm walking up a hill that I feel like is at a frickin' 90-degree angle, and it is the road that never ends. No, I should say the hill. It is the hill that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friend. Once it stops climbing, it never ends. Okay, anyway, sorry. I feel like Jessica on New Girl, and I just want to sing everything today, which is weird, given the fact that I can't decide if I'm in a good mood. I'm trying to focus on the positive. I'm just a little bit disappointed, and oh my God. And currently I'm a little bit winded. I'm sure you guys really want to listen to my podcast when I'm all... I mean, this is not a porn video. I swear you didn't tune into a really bad, vulgar thing. Oh my gosh. Holy banana. Maybe I should... Plus I have my dog with me, and she's a healer and is used to just being around people she knows and on her property. And I'm trying to get her out to kind of realize there's a whole big world out there outside of her property. And she's getting a little, just having some anxiety. She doesn't quite know what to think of it. There's a car coming, so you might be hearing some stuff. But, sorry, there's a car passing by. See, this is why I tell you, my podcast, you can always, Gwen. Okay, I just found out the hard way that my dog wants to herd cars. Okay, duly noted. Gwendolyn. Anyway, what in the hell was I saying? That I needed to scooch over and take a break so you guys didn't have to listen to me breathing into the phone. Oh yeah, that I was good mood, bad mood. And see, when you listen to my podcast, I get sidetracked. I do, but I come back around. Then I get sidetracked again. Then I come back around, and so the cycle goes. Anyway, I have a lot on my mind, so my brain is going quite a few directions. And one minute it's like, hey, let's think of the positive and the good. Woohoo! And let's focus on the positive focus on the things you can control and the things you have a solution for. Take it one thing at a time, but that's easier said than done, of course. I don't know. I get frustrated by things that I probably should just let go. Like people disappointing you. When you're in a relationship and you finally decide that it's best to end that relationship. And if it's, let's say, for cheating or for addiction, you hope and pray that person, stops doing those things when you leave. And a lot of people want to, especially with addiction. I mean, you can stop cheating. Cheating's different. That is something you can not do. But addiction, of course, is different. And not everybody is, some things are harder than others to kick. And some people really genuinely try. when a partner leaves them, they're like, man, maybe I should get my act together. Maybe if I get my act together, my partner and I could try it again. Or maybe I can find somebody that is healthy and I can have a healthy relationship. Or maybe, gosh, now I've got a plane. 2 planes. Dueling planes. All right. Dueling planes. Sorry about that, guys. Oy vey. You get to listen to me panting and dueling planes. That's always lovely. Anyway, it's hard. You don't want, even if you, a lot of times anyway, if you break up with someone, you don't want to see them fail. You're hoping that they succeed and you wish the best for them. So you still get disappointed if they continue to do those bad things. They continue to drink or do drugs or cheat or whatever it is. I guess it's not cheating if they don't have a partner, but whatever it is, whatever the reasons are, it's sad. And I am too much of an empath to just kind of go, not my problem. But at the same time, it's not my problem, and I need to not make things my problem because it just adds, it takes away from what I need to be focusing on. It takes away my focus from things that are healthy and that are positive and that I can control. So that's something difficult for me because I tend to give people 4,000 shots and I tend to want to continue to help people when they don't really need it or deserve it or when it's not healthy. I enable. That's what I do. I enable. That's no good. So I'm trying to just focus on the fact that it's an absolutely gorgeous day. The fall colors are amazing, at least in my neck of the woods. I'm trying to focus on my animals and focus on me and what I want to achieve, what my goal is, and why I'm here. What is my purpose? Am I just here so I can try to make everybody else's life easier to enable others? No, that does no good. That's not a solution. It's definitely not a solution. But then I go, God, I haven't done anything for myself ever, really. I'm not saying that in a martyr kind of way or a victim way. I'm saying I chose to always put others first. I mean, sure, sometimes I'd take a bath for myself, or maybe I would take, a day out of the month to go riding or something like that. For a while, I was doing it once a week, and that was good. That's when I was healthy. And then I stopped so I could take care of others. And then I'll start doing something fun like my photography and something that's my passion like my photography or something with dogs. And then I stop because I get involved in other people and trying to make their lives easier and better. And it's going to give me a heart attack. I'm not going to be around for my sons or my grandkids and my animals. That's not fair. So to everybody out there that is trying to, make everyone else's life easier at the expense of your own, stop that. As someone who has done it their entire life, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help you. And sometimes people just need to fall, Plus, who's taking care of you? Who's got your back? You need to take care of your health so that you can be there for yourself and your family and your friends. Anyway, I have that on my mind. I have the fact that I feel bad when people can't quit an addiction. But then I also feel like there's some people that just don't want to, and that's sad. I don't know, addiction just really, I know why there's an Al-Anon. I know why, because it really affects other people. That's what sucks about addiction, is it doesn't just affect that person, It usually affects coworkers or children or spouses, family members, friends. It doesn't usually just affect the person, that's addicted. And I don't know, of course I come from one side of my family, had a lot of addiction issues, and well, I shouldn't say the other side didn't, because that's not fair. I only knew my grandma and grandpa on one side, my father's parents, and I didn't know my father. I only met him a handful of times, and I only know what people tell me, and I know that unfortunately he was an addict. And I know that my grandpa drank at least one beer a day, but he was a functioning alcoholic if he was one. He waited till he retired. He was the most hardworking man, incredibly hardworking, started a lot of ventures, and so if he was drinking, I know he had at least a beer a day. I don't really feel like he had more than that, but he was retired. He worked hard, but some people would call that an alcoholic. Anyway, it's interesting who ends up becoming an addict. It's interesting when you find people that come from a long line of addicts and they themselves are like, whoa, I've seen what it does. I don't want any part of that. And then the people that, because that's all they've ever seen, they too become addicted. And it's just sad. And, nature versus nurture. I don't think it's versus. I think it's both. I think they are both play a huge role in addiction. There are so many things. Like I've said before in many podcasts, I don't feel that things are black and white, There's a lot of, there are some things, of course. Killing is wrong, But then people could go, what about in self-defense? And it's like, oh, okay. So things are balanced, That's what people preach and have preached. That's what a lot of religions and people that study, like, is it Hinduism, and that are like monks, they're like balance, and I just feel like right now I could cry, I could laugh, I could punch something, but I'm trying to just focus on my scenery, focus on my animals, and be present. And, me throwing a fit isn't going to do anything. I need to get out my camera. So I hope today, if you're struggling and you're kind of on that verge, I know we don't try to be in a bad mood. I realize that. But try to focus as much as you can. Focus all of your might. Just really focus and put all that energy into the things that you can control. If your scenery sucks, focus on someone's face or voice, or focus on an animal. Focus on painting or reading or drawing or journaling. Focus on a walk. Focus on work. Focus on your children, your family, friends, whatever it is that, puts you in your happy place, or that can make you sidetrack from the things distracting you that you can't control. Like my podcast, you can listen to my podcast. I've noticed more and more people are doing so. I still haven't got it fixed, of course. Still haven't. So thank you for tuning in spite of that. Oh my God, now I'm walking up. It was downhill and then uphill. Now, of course, I'm going up the other side, and here we go. And you're going to hear wind and me breathing heavy. Woohoo! Airplanes and wind and breathing. Oh my. Sounds like a weird podcast, but God, I don't know. I have just things rolling around in my head, and I appreciate that people tune in to try to listen to me figure it out and sort it out in real time. And if you can relate at all, I'm glad that you're listening. And if you can't relate, maybe you're listening to me because you're like, wow, this lunatic over here. Regardless of the reason you're listening, I'm just glad that you are. I know I need to get my act together and get my music, my intro and outro back on. But holy cow, I really am in shape. Like I wear my Fitbit, and on average, I do 6.7 miles a day. That's on average. So sometimes less, sometimes more. And I average about 16,300 steps. And let me tell you, it's not like I'm lazy, but I don't really work out my legs in this way. Like I walk a lot, I don't stand, but this is good for my glutes. Gotta have that nice butt. Anyway, so I'm wishing you, this is just kind of a quick, all over the place, nonsense podcast. So if it's your first time, I would love to lie to you and be like, hey, it gets better. I don't know that it does. I talk like this in a lot of them. Some days I'm talking for 45 minutes. Sometimes it's like for 15. Sometimes I talk about a million things at once, and other times it's one quick topic, Today, apparently, because I'm out of wind, I'm making it shorter. I probably should have chose to do a podcast when I wasn't walking and airplanes didn't have the potential of flying by. Anyway, to those of you out there who think they can't climb that hill, you got this. You freaking got this. You're a badass. And, that was one thing I was going to say, speaking of badass. Charlie Kirk said how he wanted to be remembered and, for his faith. And I want to be remembered as a force to be reckoned with. Seriously, a force to be reckoned with, because some people may equate that to something like cocky or bad, something negative or conceited. I don't know. But I think, or people might be like, really? You don't want people to remember you for being kind or empathetic or being respectful or hardworking? Sure. I think that's part of what makes someone a force to be reckoned with. I think if you are tough mentally and physically, I think if you don't take shit from people, you don't get bullied. You don't allow people to bully you. You don't allow people to push you around. You don't allow people to just walk all over you and tell you how you're going to think. If you aren't afraid to stand up for what you believe in, if you aren't afraid to speak out. And when I say this, I don't mean forcefully. I don't mean in a douchey way. I don't mean screaming and yelling and being violent. I mean, when there's maybe an unpopular opinion, but it's your opinion, you speak out on it. Or when you know the facts and you want to get information out there, true factual information, in a time that facts seem very, no one wants to hear them, and you still speak out, then to me that's a force to be reckoned with. If people won't bully you, or people try to bully you and you aren't fazed, or people challenge you and you stand up to the challenge, you rise to the challenge, you rise to the occasion, and you stand up for yourself and others, your beliefs, your wants. Oh my God, I am so out of shape. It's going to be a weird podcast. I'm going to have to listen to this, see if I even put it out. Holy cow. I'm so sorry. Anyway, a force to be reckoned with, I think, is a good thing. I think it means you are not going to be, you're not weak-minded. You're not going to fall for this, for people trying to force themselves upon you. So that's how I'd like to be remembered, because that also means that you can be tough and strong and kind and respectful and show grace and humility. You can still be a loving, caring person and be a force to be reckoned with. All of those things, to me, make a person a strong force. So, anyway, to all those out there that are a little spicy, maybe they're a little spicy jalapeno, cheers to you. Cheers to you, you little hot thing. Again, I'm not talking people that are disrespectful and violent and, screaming and yelling. I'm talking about people that actually stand up by knowledge, with facts, with intelligence, with education, or they stand up and protect their family and their friends. They stand firm to their beliefs, and even when people put them down, even when people call them names, even when people try to fire them or censor them and take away their rights, you still stand back up, or you still stand up. You don't ever sit down. Well, if you do get knocked down, you get back up. I get knocked down, but I get up again. No, you're never going to keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Okay, anyway, little Chumbawamba for you. Told you it's like my musical, Courtney, the musical. Ramblings of an Insomniac, the musical. But it's those that may get knocked down, but they get back up. And it's those that are going to, regardless of threats or people trying to kick them, they still come out on top by continuing to be respectful. They don't stoop to someone else's level. They don't, fight fire with fire. They fight it with, smart. They do it smart. They do it in a smart manner. They do it smart. God, I wasn't smart by that sentence. That sentence was not smart. So if you are a force to be reckoned with, I think that's a good thing. I think it's an amazing thing. So to all you out there that, like I said, have a little zest, cheers to you. Obviously you do if you're listening to my podcast. So thank you. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell everybody. Let the word spread that this is the happening place to go. No judgment here. There is judgment. I'm not going to lie. I would like to say there's not, but I do. I judge. But it's not always bad. I'm making good judgments, Anyway, hey, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Until next time.